So, you know, on the fire department end of it, you know, they can make their statements and the signs across the street shouldn't bother them at all. But just like you, they, you know, their kids saw the social media and the back and forth that you did. And it was horrific on both sides, and their kids had to read those same comments and go through that. And there was a lot of kids who were upset by that. And I know it's just a small part of the feelings that are going around here, but it did affect everybody. We come out and say that the fire department, you know, was taken apart in this, and they absolutely were not. I will tell you from my end, because I've worked with the kids in the school for quite a few years, we were working on legislation to help cover some of the SNAP benefits that were missing for the kids who weren't getting food in school. I had checked in with Catherine Angeljack, who is the head of the St. Rosalie's Food Pantry, and some of the things that she told me were disturbing. That, you know, right after the ice aids, nobody came for food. The kids weren't going to the after-school programs for at the library. That, you know, less kids were in school. You know, and that's all troubling to me. I made sure that, you know, some of the benefits that I can get my hands on went to the pantry and to do things like that. There's a lot of questions, and I'll comment after everything on what I think we can do, but I'm absolutely involved in the community, as we all should be. And don't stop at just coming here, you know, follow up with your food pantries, follow up with the school. I know Lars Clemenson will never let ICE into the building. You know, whether they can use the parking lot or not, I'm not sure what the legality is there. But absolutely, there's firewalls. And just to get back, you know, we can't blame the fire department. We have questions for the chief that he's answered over and over and over again. I wish we had prior notice. There's a lot of things I wish we had.
Yeah, I'm not blaming them at all. I just want to make that very, very clear. And they are just a product of the fallout of just a much bigger issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
That's
just want you to
it.
understand that, you know, we're listening to everybody today, but there are steps that we have taken. There probably is more to come. But right now, we're just listening.
If I may, before we continue on, I know we have one last person or two before we finish this discussion on ICE and immigration, but I really want to say a comment based on some of the things that have been brought up, the topics. Two things, I want to split this into two parts. First and foremost, I have had discussions with Minerva Perez and some of the advocates, and I understand the concerns. And I have had follow-up conversations with our police department. So let me just first and foremost say something about our police department. A lot of the men and women who serve our police department are trying everything they can to do things in an ethical and moral way. I do understand that they feel as if that they cannot participate in the fullest extent of understanding what's happening, and that's very frustrating for them. And I want to commend the men and women of our police department. Our police department, as referenced before, post George Floyd, has probably become one of the most progressive police departments in the nation. But I want to say one other thing about the issue going on with ICE. Hearing from the superintendents of some of our local schools and hearing that they're seeing a decrease, hearing that they are seeing a decrease in the number of children coming into school in the attendance records is extraordinarily concerning to me. And in the name of responsible government and transparency, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to find out why they are taking the people they are taking and who they are taking. Because as far as I understand it, we don't know. And that is a problem in terms of basic transparency in local governance. And so if we are going to be sending a letter, that letter should be specifically asking those questions. We should be provided with that basic level of information, period.
I just want to follow up on what you said, and that is, you know, I know that, you know, from a community standpoint, us asking questions doesn't seem like enough, but to get answers to a lot of these questions that you yourselves are asking will help us inform the community on what's going on going forward. We do have many conversations with our local superintendents of our school districts that are seeing this affect our children. And getting answers to questions is where we start. Because we can't do anything without the answers to these questions that we all want answers to. And that being said, you know, I'm glad that Mr. Anthony brought up what Chief Kieran had said when we brought him on as the chief of Southampton Town Police Department. Our police department, our local police department has not changed. They are the same police department that has given awards by OLA, that is out there in the community, going to community events. You can 1,000% call them without fear. And I think that is a message that we need to get out there to the community, because, you know, people have enough fear going on that if there's something going on in their lives, if there's a woman being battered, if there's a child being abused, we need them to be able to reach out to our local law enforcement. That cannot stop, and we really need to drive home that fact that our local police department is here for you. They are the same police force that has been here for you, and they will be here for you in the future, and you need to feel safe to call them, so.
Good point. Okay, our last speaker, I believe, on this topic well, it's John McCullough.